Behind every successful company is not just a great business idea, but a great people, effective leadership, and a great people management. That is all on today's episode of TPL Series. We are not just talking about the product today, all about sales. We are talking about the people doing the work. So on today's episode of TPL Series, we'll be handling the topic behind every successful company. The Jesus Christ, okay. Behind every successful company, the role of a human resource manager. And I have with me here today our H.R.M at ThankGod Products Limited. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, like I said earlier, today we won't be talking about the products or sales or marketing. Today we're talking about the role of a human resource in building a successful company.
Okay.
So, for the sake of those who do not know what human resource is all about, please, in simple terms, can you just explain to them?
Okay, human resources is let's take for instance, you have a company, you have your tables, you have your chairs, you have your computers. All those are resources, and they have different functions. The chairs, you sit on them. The computers, you use them for your jobs and all of that. So the human resources, the human aspects of the job, the people who carry out the assignment. So a human resource manager is someone who coordinates these people, who employs strategy to make sure that they utilize the human resources, which are the employees in the organization, to achieve the goal of the company.
Oh, that's nice. Prior to this period, I've always thought that the role of a human resource manager is all about hiring employees. So thank you for explaining that. So what role does the human resource play in building a successful company generally?
Okay, behind every successful company, I would like to state that there are people. Every system you see working, somebody is making it work. You can't say a company is successful merely because the company is successful. No, there are people driving that success. Now, the role of the human resource manager is to know what the goal of this company is. What do we want to achieve? Where are we going to? Now, the role of the human resource manager, how do we achieve this goal? So what the human resource manager does is get the goal from the management, communicate this same goal to the people, to the employees, and then develop strategies whereby you use those employees to achieve the goal of the company successfully.
Okay, that's nice. So now you talked about getting the goal from the bearer of the vision, which is like the MD or the CEO of the company, and then passing the goal across to the employees, which are the people that will now carry out these goals and make sure that the visions come to life. Now, in hiring employees, now whenever you put up a vacancy for a particular position, you see a lot of persons coming to apply. So how do you really know which one? You could see up to 10, 20 persons coming to apply for a particular role, and in most cases you see that 3, 4, 5 persons are actually really good with this particular role. So how do you really get to pick a particular person? What are those things you look out for before picking a particular person to come into that position?
Okay, now I will first of all say this. As a human resource manager, not all interviews are done by the book. You should be dynamic in your approach.
Okay.
Now, you said something for in a situation where you have 5 candidates who are competent or who should be successful for that position. How do you know the person who you're to employ? Now, in such situation, like I said, you don't do all interviews by the book. Now you have 5 persons. As a human resource manager, beyond all of your strategies, beyond all of the knowledge you have acquired, there is an inspirational part of it, and that comes from the Holy Spirit. Now, there are persons that you said these people are competent enough. They have the qualities you're looking for, but they don't fit into that organization. There's a portion of the Bible that says, he who breaks the edge, the serpent will bite. You can employ someone who is competent, but the person is not meant to be in your organization. So once the person comes in, everything begins to drop.
Yeah.
You get me? Yeah. So the role of the Holy Spirit, why your strategy and all of that, your knowledge, your competence, your skills, use it to know who is competent enough or who is good enough for that position. You also employ the help of the Holy Spirit to know who exactly you're supposed to pick for that role. Yes.
Okay, which means the Holy Spirit also have a role to play in employing staff. That is why you should be sensitive in your spirit when employing. So you don't just use your own idea, or you feel like this person looks pretty or this person looks, All right, so there's this debate I've been seeing online, TikTok particularly, I guess. And then someone asked a question, say, what if in a situation where, just like I painted a scenario before, you have applicants who came to apply for a particular role, and out of these persons, 5 persons are best fit for it. Intellectually, they know the role, but maybe character-wise, they would not be good fit for it. And then you have these other sets who have character-wise, they are very okay, but they might not know the job very well. And you just have to make a pick from here. What would you do? Would you rather go for the one who is sound intellectually for the role, or the one who has a good character for the role? So what would you do?
Okay, as a human resource person, you should understand that attitude is everything. Yes. Okay. So when you're employing, competence, it's very important. Yeah. Character as well is important. Now you look for, what is this organization looking for? What are they willing to do? As a human resource person, part of your responsibility is to train. You develop people. That's why you place people on 3 months probation. Okay. Now, which of these is a priority for the organization? Do they prefer to go for character first or competence first? Yes. So for me, there are some persons in some organizations, they don't have the character, but they are competent. Exactly. And some people, they have all of the character, but they are not competent. The most important thing is who is willing to grow, who is willing to learn, who is willing to adapt to change.
So what you're saying is that you rather employ the one who has the character and then train the person?
Since I've not actually handled such case, I love competent people. Okay. Are you getting me? So I would love to give someone who is competent enough a shot. Okay. Then place the person on probation while we work on their character. If after the 3 months probation you're not able to adjust in terms of your character, because your role as a human resource person is also to build people. Okay. Character-wise and otherwise. Their conduct, you subject them to the rules and regulations of the organization. So whoever has whatever bad attitude they have to drop it at the gate when coming into the organization.
I think you really gave a balance to that, because while this debate was going on, some of the comments that caught my attention were, so person said, as long as you're getting the job done, I don't care what your character is. Exactly. Just get the job done. And there's some other persons that are saying, oh, if you don't have the right character, the right attitude to work, you will definitely pollute the environment, and then the work environment becomes toxic.
This is where policies comes in. You understand? Now the role of the HR again is to build structure. Okay. Now when you have a good HR that builds good structures, enact positive policies in the organizations, it's going to help handle these issues of character flaws and all of that. I think that.
Yeah, you really gave a very good balance to that. All right, so I think one of the conversations I've heard employees talk about online, especially because most time you won't see these employees coming out to tell you to your face in the company that, oh, this and that is going on. But then you see comments online, you see their posts online. So one of the things I've seen that caught my attention too is employees talking about a work environment that is not friendly, that is not that is toxic. Now, how do you, as a human resource manager, how do you create a work environment where employees want to stay, employees want to, grow, even if they are not so fit for the job, they just want to be there. There's so much enjoy. You see some people telling me that they just so much enjoy their work environment. Where some person will tell you, oh, I love the salary, but the work environment is not fit for my mental health. You should take that money, let me go. So as a human resource manager who is in charge of, building policies, building, managing human, how do you create a work environment that is conducive for employees and is also conducive for the company to grow?
Okay, to answer your question, I'm going
Okay.
to put out a first question for this, which is, what is the employee's definition of a toxic environment? Now, most employees interpret policies as being as a toxic environment when you're trying
Yeah.
to subject them to the policies of the organization, because a lot of them wants to do what they feel like doing. They
Yeah.
just want to live their life the way they've been living it at home. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. If you're building an organization and you don't have a structure, the organization is not going to stand the test of time. You
Yeah.
don't let people come and mess up the structure, mess up the policies, do whatever they like and get away with it. That's why they call the human resource manager a police. You get? Now, part of the job of the human resource manager is not just to wait for employees to violate the policies. You train them, you guide them to make sure they don't violate those policies. You guide them to comply
Okay.
without violation.
Okay.
That's one of the responsibilities of a human
Human
resource
resource
manager.
manager.
So, if an employee is saying the environment is toxic, please let's understand
Understand the
what you
meaning of
mean
that
by the
toxic.
environment being
Yeah.
toxic. Is
Yeah.
it being held accountable for your actions? You're saying the environment is
It's
toxic
toxic.
because the company doesn't want you to do whatever you want to do.
Okay, now let's create a balance. Now
Okay?
we understand that sometimes company rules can be quite rigid, like very
Okay.
strict, and employees also want to have a little bit of freedom. So how do you strike a balance in that? Because I think most time when these people say, oh, the work environment is not free, it is because they are not free to do what they want. So how do you create an environment where they are able to work freely and still abide by the company policies?
Well, as a human resource manager, you should understand that human resources is about managing people's emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you should know when to relax the law.
Okay.
Yes. But not at the detriment of the
The company.
organization.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, thank you. So, um, I must say you're doing a really great job as a human resource manager. Now, I personally have worked in an environment where there is no HR, and I've also worked in an environment where there's an HR, like ThankGod Properties Limited. Now one of the key things you mentioned was structure. If you get to a company where there is no human resource manager, you see that there is no structure. People move
Exactly.
about carelessly, people do things the way they want. So one of those days I visited a particular office where I have worked before. It is more like a tech organization, not this whole corporate 9 to 5 years, more like a tech organization. And I don't know, but I was so irritated by the whole thing. While I was working there, I was very okay and I had no issues with it.
Okay.
But then when I then compared, oh, ThankGod Properties Limited and that place, I got to understand that having structure in place is actually very, very
Okay.
important. You see staff following certain rules, doing certain things, being organized, most especially. But in an environment where there is no human resource manager, you see things being done just anyhow, the way they
Anyhow.
want it. All right, so this conversation is getting interesting. Thank you for being on this show. We'll be going on a very short break and we'll be back. If you're just joining us, we are talking about the role of a human resource manager in building a successful company. So do want to share the link to your friends so they can join us in this conversation. See you shortly. At Tango Properties Limited, we don't just talk, we keep to our promise. And it is another location day here in Tango Properties Limited. We've brought our clients to come take full ownership of their properties. So right now, we are at campus layout located in Elele Iche, just close to the RSC Agricultural Science Faculty. Our clients are invited to take full possession of their land. Now, this is a proof that we keep to our promises. So join me as we go hear from our clients. Let's know what their experience has been like, and let's know how they feel about taking full possession of their properties today. Join me. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, ma. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations, sir. Congratulations on being allocated your plot today. Congratulations on being allocated your plot today in campus layout. Sir, congratulations on being allocated your plot today in campus layout. Now that you've been allocated your plot, how do you feel, sir?
I feel okay. I'm impressed with what I've seen so far, and it's good to own a piece of plot here.
I feel very much excited, like super excited.
I can see that already.
To me, I'm very extremely happy. I think my mom will be happier than me here.
I must say I'm very excited with what I'm seeing. I see a lot of prospect around the plots, and I'm happy I came here myself.
I actually feel good about it. That's just what I have to say.
I'm very excited because I was waiting for this moment. Yes, so I can't even wait to have this and feel comfortable to do whatever I want to do.
Michael Amadi, the landlord of this place. So thank God real estate is not owing us. So it's a new business. And I know today you came to see your land, so you have your land. But no problem, you can access your land at any time. You can access your land. So thank you.
And I want to tell you for sure that ThankGod Properties is actually one of the credible real estate company to actually work with in case you're looking for real estate investment here in the city of Port Harcourt.
Sir, on finally allocating this plot to our happy clients today. As the CEO of ThankGod Properties Limited, how do you feel allocating the plots to your clients?
I feel so excited because there was a whole lot of pressure from the investor. When am I getting my property? When we try to tell to them that because of the heavy downpour of the rain, that's why it's been delayed. Some understand why, some completely did not understand. Also, I'm very happy today. I have allocated their plot to them. Everybody is very happy and they are satisfied. And that is my greatest joy. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Allocation is a proof of promise kept. Finally, we are done with campus layout allocation. The campus layout is located just beside the RSC Agricultural Science Faculty. And today, our clients are taking full possession of their land. They've got to see their land and they are proud landowners. You can see the excitement on their faces. You can hear their reviews about working with ThankGod Properties Limited. So if you're here to invest with ThankGod Properties Limited, this is another amazing opportunity for you to invest. So kindly send us a DM to secure a plot of land from ThankGod Properties Limited. Welcome back to TPL Series. Today we're not talking about buying land, we're not talking about investing, we're not talking about sales or marketing. We're talking about the people who are responsible for making these things happen. The people who are responsible for making the sales take place. And I still have with me here our human resource manager at ThankGod Properties Limited. Thank you for being on this show.
Thank you too.
Thank you. So back to our conversation, talking about people management and building a successful company. So now I think we mentioned something like this. I think that was one of the second question I asked you, but I also want to ask a question relating to that. Now, when you talked about employing staff who are competent and who are good character wise, now there's a twist to this particular question. So let's say you have a staff who have an employee, yeah, who was performing well, and suddenly is not performing so well again.
Okay.
So what would you do? Would you sack the employee? Would you train the employee? Or what would you do to, see that this employee performs well? Or generally, what would you do as a human resource manager?
Okay. As a human resource manager, in the human resource department, there are different various offices. Now, for some companies, they have the human resource who is in charge of training.
Okay.
There are human resource who are in charge of performance of the employees. There are human resource who are in charge of welfare, staff welfare.
Wow.
Yes. So now, back to your question. For an employee who was performing very well, but later isn't performing, we know that the role of the human resource manager is to track staff performance. And once a performance of a particular employee drops, you should know. Now, in human resource management, there's something we call performance improvement planning.
Okay.
Every company should have that. There are procedures to these things. You get, before you come to the conclusion of firing an employee who was underperforming or who is currently underperforming, you must have satisfied these procedures.
Okay.
You start from communicating. Let's have a conversation. Do you have a problem? What challenges are you facing? What is it? Is the job now becoming overwhelming? Are you having any difficulty? Get to hear from this employee. Are you getting me? Then you get to a point where, after hearing from the employee, you can employ your performance improvement plan method. It's either you put them on a 3 months training, extensive training. You assign a supervisor to them who is going to watch them closely and all of that. They may be going through tough times. They may be going through emotional issues, traumas, and all of that. So that is why we have different arms of the human resource management. You have the welfare arm. So if it's an emotional issue, you can take it to the welfare office. This employee is going through emotional stuff. Let's know how to handle it. So you don't just fire an employee because they are not performing very well.
That's nice. I think a lot of companies don't do this. I mean, once they see that a particular staff performance have dropped, the next thing that comes to mind is
relieve them of their responsibilities.
responsibilities.
But you know that there are times when this has been communicated to the employee, we expect you to do better. Yes, some companies don't employ this strategy of performance improvement plan. I believe that a lot of them don't know. You get, yes. So that's why a human resource manager is important in every organization. So the human resource manager is going to tell you what is obtainable, what you should do, how to do these things. You don't just wake up one morning and decide to fire an employee.
Thank you. So there's this particular thing that I always hear employers say, just get the job done. I don't care what your mood is like today. I don't care whatever you're going through. Just get the job done. You're being paid for it. And now you realize that, okay, let me not say it. I should ask you. Now, can a company's success be affected if the staff are not happy or the staff are unhappy? Now, let us let's understand that the staff are responsible for seeing that this job is being done. So if they are not happy, can the job really be done? And can their unhappiness affect the growth of the company?
Well, no employer of labor will allow the emotion of a particular employee affect the success of their company. You get, like you said, what the employer wants is for you to get the job done. Whether you are sick, whether you're not feeling happy,
you're going to a
just get the job done. Are you getting me? Now, like I said earlier, that's why we have these human resource people. You get, that's why we have them in the organization. You're going through a tough time, you're going through an emotional stress. Go to the welfare department, talk to them. Are you getting me? Don't tell them, you don't tell your employer, I was not in a good mood, that is why I did not get the job done. You're going to get a query or you get suspended. Are you getting me? So in order to avoid these things, the employer doesn't care. Honestly, it sounds so selfish, but that's the truth. Just get the job done. That is what you're being paid for. You get, yeah.
But HR, let's be realistic. This staff cannot. No, as a human, of course, you as a human who is reasonable, you know that you're being paid for this job, so you should get the job done. Forget about whatever your not forgetting, but keeping aside whatever your personal issues are. But as a human, sometimes you just tend to, always feel emotionally down or something. So is there a rule? Okay, you already mentioned that as a human resource manager, you would advise that the staff should
That's where communication comes
the
in.
welfare. So we agree that an unhappy staff can affect a company's growth. Are we agreeing to that?
I didn't agree to that. Yes, because whether you're happy or you're sad, those are emotions. And when it comes to the work environment, you apply zero emotions. Keep your emotions aside. That's why I said communication is important. If you're going through stuff and you're having emotional challenges, communicate to the human resource department, communicate to them. I can't function. They will find a way to help you. You get the point. Don't tell your employer because I was unhappy, because I was going through a heartbreak, I was not performing. It's going to reflect in your record. For this particular month, you were not performing. Who did you communicate to? How did you pass that information? The human resource manager is not a spirit to know what's going on with you.
Yeah.
So you have to communicate that to the welfare department.
That's nice. Yeah. All right, but so as a human resource manager, one of the most I don't want to use the word disliked or hated, but one of the staff that employees don't love so much at the HR because they are so strict. Not like you want to be strict, but you want this to be done. And most times employees tend to misunderstand. A HR would eat with you, smile with you, and still serve your query. So in your experience as a human resource manager, what has been your difficult moment as a human resource manager managing human? Now we understand that the people you're managing, some of them are older, some of them are younger, some of them have different characters, different approaches to life, different ways of doing things. So how do you manage these people? What has been your difficult moment managing these people? I think you mentioned that employees can get to adjust.
Okay, we all agree that one of the most difficult but not impossible set of people to manage, or set of, let's say, one of the difficult things to manage is human. Because they have emotions. Managing the emotions of people. Now, as a human resource manager, you should understand also that definitely you will work with juniors and you will work with seniors. I handled an interview sometime, and I handled that interview alongside with a consultant, an external consultant. While we're conducting that interview, a particular lady walked in. The consultant was way older than I am, but now the lady, maybe they happen to be in the same age grade. When the consultant was done with the professional aspect of the interview, now I had to come as a human resource with the administrative part. When the lady was directed to me, I saw the look on her face. She was disappointed.
And at that exactly
this small girl, And at that point, something came to my mind. If you say you want to work in a professional organization, just prepare your mind, because you're either going to work with people who are your seniors or people who are your junior. And if you're not ready to submit to someone who is your junior, but in a higher office than you're not ready to work in a professional organization. So this is where wisdom to manage people. You need wisdom to manage people. While you're managing people, you don't, as a human resource person, because you're the human resource manager, you don't boss everybody around. You know the place of honoring people who are your seniors. You have to separate you as a person and the human resource as a department. Are you getting me? Your office is different from you. When addressing people, you address them by their offices as a human resource manager. So separate yourself from the department or from the
HR,
office
so
rather.
that is why you hug me and still serve me a query.
Exactly.
All right, thank you very much for giving answer to that. Now, my last question for this episode, I wish this was longer. I'm enjoying it. But then my last question, so as a human resource manager, what would be your advice to a business owner out there who is trying to build a successful company, who is trying to manage the people who are responsible for seeing that his or her company becomes successful?
Okay, my advice to those people who want to build a successful company or a successful brand. Now, you cannot have a corporate organization without a HR or human resource manager. The human resource manager helps you organize. Their job is not just to recruit people. Now, there's something we call pure candidates, purely unidentified recruitment error. There are some CEOs, they bring in people to the organization because they are family members, they are friends.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, when this person is not getting the job done, you cannot say anything because they are your family members. No, that is why you have to employ the services of a human resource manager. These are people who will track the performance of the people you employ. If somebody is not doing well, regardless of your relationship with the person, please, the human resource manager is in charge of firing, hiring, both who is doing well, and then rewarding those that are even doing better. You get? They are not just enforcing compliance on people who are deviating. What is in for those who are performing their duties very well? Exactly. So if you want to own a company or you want to establish your own company, please, you have to employ the services of a human resource manager that are going to give your company the face it should have. Yeah.
Thank you.
Or the structure rather.
It was great having you on this episode of TPL Series.
You're welcome.
Thank you for joining us. And for those of you still watching, do want to drop your comments, your suggestions, your experience as a HR managing human, and also employees, your experience as an employee trying to cope up with your company. Drop your questions, your comments, whatever, drop it in the comment section and you'll be responded to. And do what to share, do what to like, do what to turn on your notification bell so you always be the first to watch when we post a new series. Thank you once again for joining us, and see you in our next episode.